it doesn't have to happen that way.
It doesn't have to happen that way. But what is the percentage of those relationships opposed to the majority of people who actually experience that lifestyle? You understand what I'm saying? And even in that situation, maybe they weren't jaded or cheated on or done wrong in that relationship, but they've experienced hardship.
Abuse is needed. I
Abuse,
can't get behind
I
that.
didn't say
Yeah, if
necessarily
you're saying,
abuse is
well, if
needed, but
someone's
some
cheating on
people,
you, if someone's betraying you, that's forms of abuse. If someone's cheating on you, that is a form of abuse, and I don't think that we need that.
I've said sort of like flippantly in the past that I needed someone until I really understood like the depth of that word when you're talking about people. And so I think want is more honest. Need, people throw that word around. And so I think that people are not honest about what the word need really is when they're talking about another human being, and what that could mean. So I think want is more honest. Need is mostly dishonest when people say it.
I would say that usually, because anybody could say that they need you, but how often do we actually really need someone? Right, wanting someone, you can be a lot more honest with that. When is it that we actually need? Do we ever need someone for anything? Can't we always find an alternative? You lose people, life goes on. Do you ever really need anyone for anything? I don't think you ever really need anyone.
I think we can.
I don't know about
Why?
I
that.
think
disagree.
I think you can run it. I think you can run into people, or you can have interactions with people or a particular experience that introduces something that you uh, start to get used to, and you start to rely on, becomes vital in your life. And if it's stripped away, it is going to require you to go through drastic measures to compensate for the lack thereof. So I think you can articulate that you actually need someone if they are able to fill voids that are vital to something specific to you in your life. And I think that brings couples close together on a form of, in a sense, to where they can't just easily walk out of walk out of each other's life just because they're unhappy. I think this is where once you establish these particular needs, the level of tolerance and endurance begin to spike whenever you're going through confliction.
So what happens? So in that case, Darwin, I would ask you to give an example of what type of relationship dynamic does a person actually need the other, and then what would happen if they went away.
Um, well, I can give an example from my own experience. Uh, as far as a relationship I've had with a woman, not gonna give details on that, but I've had a relationship with a woman where I struggled. I personally had struggles with anger, and I used to fly off of the handle. And not my mother, not my father, not my friends, but this woman in particular had a specific skill in a relationship with me to where she was able to help me calm down and reapproach uh, conflicts in my life in a calm and more logical manner than an emotional one. And at that point, I mean, I stamped it. Like, I don't think I would have been able to accomplish a lot of things or even navigate a lot of challenges without her being in my life specifically, because she had a unique skill that I wasn't able to discover in other people. So it's easily to remember her because of the things she helped me through. So I think that's one example, but it's not a one size shoot fit all. I think this is subjective. Some people might not have to need somebody to go through conflict, but just giving you an example to
Right.
appease your question.
Yeah, only because the question at that point would be, if you didn't run into this person, would you still have anger issues today, or could you have matured? Could you have worked on yourself and came to where you are right now? If it weren't for this person, could it have been possible that someone else could have helped you in that same way? Have you met other women who have similar characteristics right now?
Well, I would say this: it is absolutely possible that I could have run into somebody who would have been had that same characteristics to work through. But there's no way I can say that I've ran into women after that because I haven't been able to test it. You know what I'm saying? Because she filled that void so much, it became muscle memory for me to be able to handle those, navigate on my own. And so if it were the case where I had backslid and I started to regress and needed somebody to calm me or show me how to work through things, then I would have been able to test future women. But she laid it on me in a way to where it stuck past the duration of time I had a relationship with her. So I can't really say that another woman would have been able to do that definitively.
Right. Okay. So the reason why I try to steer people away from using that word need is because we can easily develop toxic attachment styles to a person when you decide that you need someone. That's a big deal. You don't want to be in a situation where you need someone. They can easily assume control over your life when you need them. Most people will betray you. It doesn't happen to everyone, but when people know you need them, people will weaponize that in a lot of cases.
Well, fortunately for me, it wasn't weaponized, but I understand that it can happen. And I think that's the risk everybody take whenever they let themselves be vulnerable around somebody that they strongly connect with. But I guess I'm blessed.
With that logic, Trev, I would say then we would suggest for people never to try to fall in love or be vulnerable because you're afraid of people taking advantage of you for the circumstances. I think when it comes to need, that it becomes more of a foresight thing, right? Like you don't think you need people that you have in your life until they're no longer there. I agree with Darwin when he stated that he learned something from that particular person. Most relationships that you go through, you need it to go through those situations in order for you to grow and learn and get to the place where you are now, right? I think people, as just humans, we need each other. You might not need someone to be a steadfast, person in your life for the rest of your life, but you needed them for that phase. Like they say, people come around for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, but you needed them at each phase of of your life, right? So that you could grow and understand. Now, there are certain people that you want in your life, and you go out of your way to make sure that they are a constant, active person in your life. But there are definitely people that you absolutely needed and you still need.
So Ty, how did you define need?
I defined it as essential, as something that was
Right.
absolutely necessary. And
Right.
the situations you go through, whether they're good or bad, and this is the thing, right? Because I think we try to stray people away from the bad, but you don't realize the blessing in the bad, the lesson in the bad, how you actually can grow and become better in the bad. You need the bad just as much as you need the good. You can't even appreciate the good until you've experienced the bad. So sometimes you need to go through those steps, right? Most of us need to go through those steps where we deal with those toxic relationships, where we deal with our anger issues, where we deal with that cheating spouse, where we deal with those, demons that you are having, or that someone you're actually dating is mirroring back to you, so that you can realize your own struggles and understand how you can grow into the next situation. It's all needed, right? You might not want it, but it's all needed. It's
I don't
very
believe.
it's very necessary for your life.
I think we'd be. Yeah. I can't get behind. We need that cheating spouse. We needed that betrayal and everything. The most successful relationships, period, are people who have had zero to like one partners. I know plenty of people. This is anecdotal, but even the data supports it. The people who have the less encounters, the less betrayal, they actually have the most fruitful, long-lasting relationships. The people who I know who have been like high school sweethearts, met each other when they were young, have had no betrayal, or people who had arranged marriages. They've all been successful, the most successful relationships. People who weren't jaded, people who didn't go through those things. So we're saying that we should have people do us dirt for us to get better, but it doesn't have to happen that way.
It doesn't have to happen that way. But what is the percentage of those relationships opposed to the majority of people who actually experience that lifestyle? You understand what I'm saying? And even in that situation, maybe they weren't jaded or cheated on, or done wrong in that relationship, but they've experienced hardship that helped them learn situations. These were things they needed to go through. I think it's
Not
all part
necessarily.
of life,
Not
whether it's
necessarily.
from your actual lover or your parents or your friends. It can all come in different ways, but I think that sometimes those things are definitely needed.
Abuse is needed. I can't
Abuse,
get
I
behind
didn't
that.
I didn't say
Yeah,
necessarily
if you're saying,
abuse is
well,
needed, but
if someone's
some
cheating
people,
on you, if someone's betraying you, that's forms of abuse. If someone's cheating on you, that is a form of abuse, and I don't think that we need that.
I understand your perspective, but I mean, historically, cheating wasn't a form of abuse, it was a lifestyle, right? Men had concubines when they had wives. Men slept with prostitutes while they had wives. Women, did their thing. That has been a lifestyle, and I'm not saying that you should accept that lifestyle, but for some women, maybe the ones who have baggage, for some men, maybe the ones that need to learn certain lessons, you have to go through that in life to realize you don't want that.
Mm.
I got a point, but I'm gonna yield for now because I didn't let nobody else talk. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let's go ahead and get Ella True and everybody now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think everybody made great points. Uh, I'm more leaning towards what Trev and Darwin was saying because I don't think Trev to a degree because I think you do need people. I think it's the difference between needing them to do something for you. Like we don't need nobody to cook for us. We don't need nobody to clean for us. We don't need nobody to make no money. No, you don't need that. But we're human beings and we're not here to be alone. So there's an innate connection that we need from each other, whether it's a brotherhood, whether it's a sisterhood, or whether it's a romantic relationship. I think there's an essential need there. But as far as like for a function or something in my life, no, I don't need that. So I think we do need interpersonal relationships and connections. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a necessity. Now, do you need them to take care of you? No. But what is life without, a real connection with somebody? So yeah, I think we do need each other, definitely.
No, everybody made very valid points. When I was listening to, I believe it was Darwin, he was referring to the need of the person who came into his life and I guess elevated his skill set to manage his emotions or whichever. I don't know if I would tie that to being needed or that was necessary per se, but I would say that it sounded like that person had an impact on your life. And I think that just occurs just throughout anybody's lifestyle, that there's going to be people you meet who are going to be more impactful. Um, Maybe they're needed, maybe they're wanted. To go back to the original question, I think if someone actually tells you they need you, I think that's actually more honest than saying that they want you. Mainly because need is tied to necessity and essentialness, as we were referring to moments ago. So yeah, like Illa just said, we need people. Sometimes I believe that being in this America, as it is beneficial in a lot of ways, there's a social engineering that we get to where we have this rags to riches story, or starting from the bottom, now we here, and that's not really how life works, period. I mean, even if you research the most successful freaking people, Trev made a valid point. These people are being arranged marriages and coming from a society, like a tribe. So this idea that one person is good enough to carry all of life's weight is a fallacy. I think it's a good story. Go ahead, Ella.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but I think we live in such a due to technology and social media, we feel like everybody's so damn replaceable. So we don't feel like we need somebody. 'Cause like I could just get somebody tomorrow. I could just swipe. I could do this. I could do that. So we don't really understand. We don't even take the time to know the value of what you need because you're already looking at what you can do. Next thing you know, you're 50 years old and you fucked up thinking you always got an option. But as far as what Trev was saying, arranged marriages does make sense, but that's not something we deal with today. But I do see the value in what you're saying, that less partners is better, because once a man or woman starts, especially a woman, once you start taking on multiple people and dealing with this one and dealing with that one, especially if they got kids and shit, they really have like a this sensitivity to connection where it's like the more they get hurt, because I know Ty was saying that you can learn from pain, but I don't necessarily think like Trev said, that's a really good factor, because pain, I don't think helps us grow as much. It might make us grow as individuals, but it definitely doesn't help us grow socially. We become colder, we become more callous. So I think the more women be having partners and dealing with different relationships, they can't even recognize a real man. They can't even recognize love because they done been callous from this situation. So I don't think multiple partners is a need. I think it'll be ideal if we could just have one, but I don't think having multiple people and dealing with multiple partners is going to make you better for the future partner. I think the less is probably more. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah, and I wasn't necessarily saying more.
No, I'm not saying you was. I'm just, it made me think more. That's all.
Okay, that was, yeah, no, you make a valid point, but I agree with majority of what you said. And Trev, yeah, we need people. It's not going anywhere. Technology is not going to replace people, even though AI is out. We'll be fine. And I'll land.
What does need mean to you?
Might not match Webster's, but that's my thoughts.
A need for me is it's a necessity. It's a non-negotiable. It's damn near something I can't live without.
I agree with Pearl and Trev. It's a necessity, right? It's something that's an absolute.
Mhm.
Without
Absolutely.
it, you can't function, right? Like life isn't the same.
It's kind of obvious, you know, something essential, you know. I ain't make it too deep. We all know what that is.
Okay. Which is more honest? I want you or I need you?
I
Depends.
think they both lies. It's just the person that's saying it. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
person that's saying it can make it true or a lie. If people could tell you they want and need you, they just saying shit. So it's just based on a person. You know what I mean? It could be the truth or, you know, a lie. It's basically a gauge on the integrity of the person, you know.
I say they both evenly honest. But once you start to see how they interact with whatever it is that they want and need, you may be able to keep score on which one they're more honest about based off of how delicate there is. How delicate they are with whatever they want and what they need. And I don't know if honesty is the term we want to use. I think how much care or how much appreciation they have whenever they actually receive the thing that they wanted and needed. Like, do they have more care for the things they need or for the things they want? Maybe a better angle at this, but